Hello, everybody. It's me, Captain Geo, George A. Ammond. We're producing this video for George R. Ammond, and that is my dad, Grandpa George, who is George R. for Ralph, son of George W. for Grandpa George William Ammond. Technically, there's been a few of us George Ammonds, but also Dad, at his 90th birthday right now, happy birthday, is son of Lillian Ammon, Grandma Ammon, Grandma Cookie, who is Grandma Lillian Clobbin, family from north central Wisconsin, one of 7 sisters and 2 brothers. Her father, my great-grandfather, Louis Clobbin, came over from Germany and settled in north Wisconsin, Withee. And as Dad was growing up, being born in 1932, about 5 years later, he was about 5 years old, as I understand, George W. sent him to Grandpa Lewis's farm in Withee, where Dad spent a couple of years living with his grandfather, who was pretty set in his ways. And there's fun stories that Dad tells, how Grandpa would make him pick rocks in the farm to clear the fields. And going to school was different. It was a one-room schoolhouse, the typical red one-room schoolhouse in Withee. And that was to escape polio. The polio virus was a very highly infectious disease that led to paralysis and death in many young children that raged through Chicago. But in any case, being born in 1932, just to give you an example, that was the middle of the Great Depression. And we were also in World War I, and that was also the year that the governor of New York, Franklin D. Roosevelt, defeated Herbert Hoover to become president of the United States. Little known fact for you historians, Roosevelt was in term for 4 terms, which was 14 years, 39 days. But growing up in Chicago, a lot of fun stories about Grandpa George. Obviously, it was told that Irving Park Avenue, north side of Chicago, roundabout Kedzie area. Growing up in that neighborhood, he went to Lane Tech, and Dad's often told stories and seen videos of playing halfback for Lane Tech, and always having a fondness for the farm in Wisconsin. Periodically, as the years went by, obviously he went back up there. Well, the other cousins had farms also, and they all liked to deer hunt. And Dad told me a story when he bought his deer rifle, a Winchester 32 Special, different bore caliber than all the other cousins who bought 30-30s. That way they couldn't steal his shells. But that gun is still in the case today. And that was actually purchased not from Grandpa William, but I guess from Uncle Louis Clobbin. That was one of the husbands of the 7 sisters. But in any case, as Grandpa grew up, into the 1950s, things started to come into place. Dad joined the Navy and then the reserves, and you might not know he was in for 6 years, during which time he developed a pretty strong interest in aircraft. And we, being younger, that continued on throughout most of his life. We had an airplane at, he says Sky Harbor Airport, but a little before my time. But then Pewaukee Airport, which is now renamed Chicagoland Executive Airport. where all the private jets fly in and out now. But it was a good time. 1956, Dad married Mom, Marlis. I was born in 58. And around that time, right then, they went to northern Wisconsin. They heard about a resort advertised on this place called Teal Lake, Ross's Real Living Resort. And on the way up there, they misturned and wound up on Lost Land Lake, Lost Land Lake Lodge, George and Dolores Brandt. And they went in for directions, and one thing led to another, and they hit it off, and they stayed there. Well, became great friends, and I had the advantage over the years of going back and forth to Lost Land Lake Lodge. So I was able to hear firsthand a lot of the old timers up there. Taught me local trails and stuff. And being a pretty adventuresome family, we took up snowmobiling and such. And eventually we started going back up Christmas to New Year's, staying on a lake just north of that, Teal Lake. And Teal Lake, excuse me, Lake Namacoggin, Lake Woods Resort. And we go ski at Mount Telemark. And this was the fun days when you had lace-up boots and cable bindings. But it was quite a lot of fun. And eventually, a couple of more years down the road, probably, I don't know, 1973, bought some property on the lake and built a home. So for many years, it was our base for a lot of fun outdoor adventures in Hayward, Lost Land Lake. Nice house, garage, and it was fun. Well, a couple other things backing up. Grandpa George went and attended Bradley University in Peoria. But more so, I hear he was successful with good grades. Started up in the remodeling carpentry business. And I had to ask questions to put it all together, but I guess after their marriage, moved in with the mother-in-law's house, Grandma Sybil Johnson, which her husband, Orville Johnson, is my grandfather on my mother's side. Well, this was a typical Chicago bungalow off of what I was told is Mulligan Street. Raised the roof, made an apartment, moved in. Lived there. I was born in 58. And then over on Miltmore Street, which is by Elston and Central, a lot became available across the forest preserves. And George built a house there. And that was a house I pretty much grew up in, kindergarten through 5th grade, along with my two sisters, Linda and Terry, of course. And along those lines, keeping in the construction, opportunity came up with Dad for a development in Glenview called Valley Low. And we actually, they selected one of the lots on the lake, built the house, and we moved from the Miltmore to Valley Low. So it's along the lines, it wasn't all work. There was plenty of good play, and albeit skiing, hunting, snowmobiling, boating. After part two, after living in, building a home in Valley Low in Glenview in the 70s, some time went by and life changed, and Mom and Dad were separated and divorced, and Grandpa George started the second phase of his life. He met his current wife, my mother-in-law, Romaine Helen Barron. And the two of them were actually married March 31st of 1993, starting phase 2. And more recently is the time frame in which most of you 7 grandkids, my Jess and Mel, Kelson Ivy, Steph, Chris, and Nicholas, remember most, as Dad and Romaine lived happily in Inverness, and Grandpa built a home down in Naples, Florida. I'm not sure what year that was, but it was probably somewhere around 1995 or 1996. So it created a nice vacation spot for us to go visit Grandpa and Grandma, Romaine and Dad. With that said, time going by, as all the grandkids got older, and now we've been experiencing weddings and such, and births of great-grandchildren. And it's become, kind of nostalgic to have these family get-togethers. I consider them like reunions, but in reality it's different life events, weddings, birthdays, etc., where we can get together and reconnect. Most recently, we just had my daughter Melanie's wedding in our backyard. And before that, we had my nephew Nicholas's wedding down in Naples. And before that, my daughter Jessica's wedding in our backyard here in Northbrook. And that was July of last year. All of which Grandpa played a big role in. Glad to have him there to experience it for all the kids and us. But now time goes by and it's Grandpa's birthday. 90th birthday. Congratulations. Dad, I just wanted to say we've all put this video together for you, and we hope you enjoy some of the out clips. But right after we finish this intro, which is getting a little wordy, you'll see him, and then we'll go from there. But just wanted to say thanks for all the experiences you taught us, and it's been a good ride. Watching you has been amazing over the years. So sit back and enjoy it. Here's the video. Bye-bye.